81 Democratic lawmakers sent a letter to the IRS with some requests. Also, some lawmakers are becoming increasingly impatient with the Build Back Better agenda and what they are suggesting. And a follow-up to some information I had yesterday suggesting that roughly 28 million people will likely be receiving another stimulus check here in 2022. I have all the details for you in this video, so let's get into it right now. But if you haven't done so, or if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you can join the #1 channel right here on YouTube dedicated to bringing you daily updates as it pertains to low income, no income, money, benefits, stimulus checks, stimulus packages, and so much more that we're covering right here in these videos every single day, as information is changing very rapidly right now, and I want to make sure that you're staying tuned with everything going on so that anytime something is announced that we can take advantage of, you are right here with all the details and we can get on it immediately. So again, thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate your support. I appreciate you being part of this community, so subscribe right down below if you haven't done so yet, as it's absolutely free to do so, always has been, and always will be. And let's get right into the video. One quick side note, my wife will be back here in just a couple minutes with the new updated list of shoutouts for those names that are pulled right out of the fan club, so stay tuned for that list of shoutouts in this video. Alright, so let's quickly get into the updates here and talk through a couple of these very important topics. Number 1. There was a group of 81 Democratic lawmakers who sent a letter over to the IRS asking them to work through the backlog of all of these tax returns from 2021 that are still awaiting processing from last year. So going into this filing season right here, right now, the IRS is already backed up from tax returns last year that they didn't even complete. Well, they've already sent out a note a few days ago, the IRS, and said it is going to be a very frustrating tax filing season because they're very backed up right now. They have a backlog from last year, and there's going to be a lot of tax returns coming in this year, and there's a lot of people that are owed a lot of money from the IRS. So this one group of 81 Democratic lawmakers sent that letter over to the IRS asking them to work through their backlog and to expedite this process simply because the lack of these tax returns being filed quickly and actually being processed quickly is resulting in financial hardship for millions of Americans. Well, a lot of people are relying on that money that they're going to be getting back as a result of their tax refunds, right? There's a lot of people out there right now who typically are non-filers that probably will be filing a tax return this year in early 2022 on the behalf of 2021 to claim money that is owed to them by the IRS, right? So a lot of people who receive these child tax credit payments, for example, maybe they're non-filers. Well, they're probably going to be filing this year because they want the other portion of their lump sum payment. Or how about people that didn't get a stimulus check in 2021? Guess what? Even if they're a non-filer, they probably want to file because then they can claim their missing stimulus check from 2021. So they're going to see a lot more tax returns this year, a lot more flow and volume of these tax returns. It's going to be a very busy one. So hopefully they can process these much more quickly. They are actually accepting tax returns almost 3 weeks earlier than they did last year. Last year, it was on February 12th. This year, it's on January 24th. They will start accepting these tax returns. So, yeah, it's actually about 3 weeks earlier this year than it was last year, which is pretty nice, right? That's going to help out a lot of people get that information in sooner and hopefully processed as quickly as possible. So, again, we'll continue watching that very closely, but either way, we're coming up on that date where we can start sending in our tax returns and get that off of our table and just done and over with, and then we just sit back and hopefully let them process our refunds as quickly as possible, right? That certainly would be nice. All right, next, let's quickly talk about a handful of lawmakers who are getting impatient with this whole process when it comes to the Build Back Better agenda. Now, this is the $2 trillion package that we've been talking about since about April of 2021. Yeah, everybody knows about this thing. I probably don't need to explain it all that much because everybody knows what the Build Back Better agenda is and the massive $2 trillion anti-poverty package, human infrastructure, soft infrastructure, whatever you want to call it these days. Well, they're technically just calling it the spending bill now. But either way, it doesn't really matter. These are just many of the names that they call it. However, some of these lawmakers are starting to come forward and saying, okay, we're throwing in the towel. This is getting to be a little bit nuts here. We've got to start moving forward with this thing. And they're basically saying, let's just break it up, do whatever we can. Let's get something done on this. Let's break it up and let's start pushing these things through here as their own standalone bills. So some of these lawmakers are starting to get really, really frustrated with this whole process that it's done nothing. The Build Back Better agenda has done nothing. For all of these months now, it has just been bouncing around between Congress, a lot of talk back and forth, a lot of delays. I think all of us can agree here, certainly a lot of delays. But with that being said, these lawmakers are saying, all right, we're throwing in the towel, we're waving the white flag, we don't really care what needs to be done here, we just need to get some legislation passed. That's all they're essentially saying right now. So again, just like everything, we will have to watch how all of this plays out, but now, this is just me and my perspective based on all the research that I do. To me, it's looking like this. And again, I could be completely wrong with this. I'm just sharing with you what I'm actually seeing based on the research that I'm doing. So remember about, a week ago, a little over a week ago, we got that new introduction and the announcement that the administration is going to be calling out to Congress, asking them for more money in the form of a COVID relief bill, otherwise known as a stimulus package. This is just what I'm seeing. It looks like the major focus is on that package right now. That's just what I'm seeing. As far as the Build Back Better agenda, other than some lawmakers coming out saying, we've got to get something done, I haven't really seen anybody else talking about it. Chuck Schumer, I can't say I've seen him say a single word about it in, I don't even know, 2 weeks maybe, 10 days, something like that, 12 days. I don't think I've seen Chuck Schumer say anything about it, and let's just call it 2 weeks. Well, we've had all these other lawmakers coming out, showing their, frustrations, things like this. Other than that, the Build Back Better agenda has not been getting a whole lot of attention at all, except for just a few lawmakers here and there. But when it comes to this other COVID relief bill that apparently is going to be requested by the administration here very, very soon, this is the one that we've been getting some updates on here and there. In fact, just that update the other day out of Steny Hoyer, I brought you that information. He was saying that the administration is going to be asking for a substantial sum. Yeah, I don't know what a substantial sum is, but that's what they're saying anyway. Who knows? I mean, is a substantial sum $1 billion? 10 billion, a trillion? Honestly, we don't really know that yet. We're not really sure where their heads are when it comes to a substantial sum. A substantial sum to anybody, to a lot of people, would be, $1,000, $10,000. That'd be a substantial sum to some people. But $1 trillion is to some others. So again, we don't really know where they're at right now. But I'm kind of feeling like that's where the main focus is right now, is on that package and, of course, voting rights over the Build Back Better agenda. But again, they'll bring it someday. I thought it was going to happen like 2 weeks ago, but again, that's just what we thought based on everything that was said way back in December. But again, they haven't done anything with it. So I'll keep you posted anyway. All right. Let's get into some more information and discuss what I talked about yesterday evening. Now, I've had a number of you reaching out, and I've also seen some frustration down in the comments section. I get it. It's frustrating, right? Well, some of you are saying, I'm not in California. Why don't I get it? Why is it just California? All right, so let's lay this out a little bit more so we can understand this. So just the other day, the governor of California came out and said that California in this year, the fiscal year of 2022-2023, is going to have a record budget, $286 billion. That's a record budget. Over $250 billion. That's a lot of money, California. But not only that, they were projecting that they were going to have $31 billion in cash, right, in the reserves. However, it came out that they have a surplus of cash, $45.7 billion of a surplus. That's a nice little surplus. I don't know about you, but I'd love to have $45.7 billion and call it a surplus, right? Whoops, I guess I got a little bit of a surplus in my bank account, right? Unfortunately, that's not true. If it was, don't worry, I'd take care of everybody here, but I can assure you it is not true. All right, so that is for California, though, 45.7. So the governor of California also indicated there will likely be some tax rebates, otherwise known as stimulus checks. So in the state of California, there was the Golden State stimulus check, And then there was the Golden State Stimulus Check 2. That was the expanded part. And now this one is likely going to be another stimulus check in the state of California alone, because we're strictly working with the budget and the surplus out of the state of California. So I know that I've seen a lot of comments on that video yesterday where I've seen some of you reaching out saying, why? Why only California? Why not my state? Well, unfortunately, because California has a pile of cash right now and they don't know what to do with it. So why not give it back to the low income? That's what they're doing. So again, this is not official yet, but the governor of California, as he continues to work out the budget and all this stuff with the surplus, he made it clear that there's likely going to be another tax rebate stimulus check, right? So as we do get more information on that, of course, I can keep you updated, but it's looking pretty good for California. California loves to hand out money. If you haven't noticed yet, California is also one of the only states, including New Mexico, who's talking about this statewide universal basic income program, as well as California has tons of guaranteed basic income programs all over that state. There's a ton of them in that state. So my point is, California loves to hand out money, which if you're in California, it's not such a bad thing, right? So yeah, it's not a bad thing if you're in California. But my point is, it's all on the state level right now. As far as California, they're taking money out of their state wallet, metaphorically, state wallet, and they're giving it to the residents of California. So that's how that works out. Now, there are other states out there that have done state stimulus checks. They're no way as far and as big, as widespread as the checks that we get from the federal government, because the federal government essentially has an unlimited supply of money, whereas the states, they don't have an unlimited supply. They don't have a printing press like the federal government does, right? So that's why the states are very limited on this, and they can only give out to certain portions of their population, whereas the federal government could send everybody a check every single day if they wanted to, and there would be no end to it. There's no end to the money. There's unlimited amounts of money. So that's the difference. The stimulus checks that we received, the $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400, those were as a result of the federal government. They have a lot of money, unlimited supplies of money, right? So that's why the difference is this. Anytime it's federal, it's all across the entire country. Every state, every district, everything within it is all encompassed within the federal government. However, when it's on the state level, it's just within the borders of that state. That's why it's just California, because it's just the state of California and their budget surplus that they're peeling off some of that money to give it back to their residents in the form of a stimulus check. So I hope that explains it. But as we get more information on that, of course, I'll keep you posted. And if/when we get more information on any kind of stimulus check out of the federal government, of course, we'll be watching that one very closely as well, right? All right, so with that being said, my last couple videos have been pretty long. I apologize. I usually like to make them as quickly as possible. I always try to do that, but sometimes they get a little bit away from me, and I apologize. So with that being said, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to wrap it up here just because the last couple have been long, and I apologize. So let's get into those shout-outs right away. My wife, Corey, is coming in right here, right now. She's going to give that new updated list of shout-outs in this video. And remember, this list is updating every single video. It is a new list of names for shout-outs, and these names are pulled right out of the fan club. Remember, the fan club is completely optional. If you're interested in checking it out, there is a link down in the description. Otherwise, at the top of the comments section, I will also put a link there as well at a pinned comment from me with a link within it. Check that out if you're interested. But again, it is completely optional just for those people who maybe want just a little bit more right here on the channel. Otherwise, all the videos here on the channel are 100% free, always have been, and always will be going forward. So subscribe down below, share the video, and go back and check out any of the other 2,000 plus videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Congratulations in advance for the shout-outs in this video. And Corey, take it away.
We are happy to shout out Barbara Murphy, Joseph Skloser, Margaret Yoakum, Joy Denise Gilmore Culver, Cheryl Gant, and Sharia Taylor. Thank you guys so much for being in the fan club.